I'm so glad you're back. And today we're going to look again at James 4, the last three verses. And I could have easily finished this up yesterday, but I thought it was better to divide it into two so that we would have time to let that, what we talked about yesterday, to kind of mull it over in our minds and internalize it. We talked yesterday about boasting about tomorrow and how we make our plans and to allow the Lord to give the Lord our plans, to let the Lord's will be done, and to give our plans over to the Lord. I'm going to start by reading the three verses from today. Okay, so instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. As it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil. So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. So now that we both know that boasting about tomorrow is sin, we don't want to do that. We want to do something else and change that up and start learning every day to give the Lord over our plans. I have plans for today. I have it like scheduled out somewhat, and I know what I'm going to do after this and then after that. And then I know I need to go and do some errands. So those are my plans. And then there's some other things I need to do before the day's over. But what happens and whether I can fit all that in actually is up to the Lord. And so when I give my plans over to the Lord, I think it also helps us not to get so upset and bent out of shape when it doesn't happen. What James is doing, he's pointing out that boasting about our tomorrow or our plans for the day, because I'm at this point in my day and I still have more day to go, that's not a good idea. It's evil, he even says. And that we should be saying, giving those plans over to the Lord. He gives us an alternative. Instead of just leaving us and saying, you shouldn't do that, he says for us to say, if the Lord wills. And that's giving us a mindset. It's more than just those words. But I'll tell you a little story. When I was a little girl, I remember hearing adults say, if the Lord wills, and tagging that on to the end of a sentence and saying, I'm going to go to the gym today, if the Lord wills. Or they would say, the Lord willing. And that's the Lord willing, or Lord willing, was a way of them encapsulating that, and they tag it on to everything. And so as a young child and girl growing up, I was like, I'm not going to ever do that, because I sensed that sometimes they just tacked it on and didn't really mean it. And it wasn't that I didn't want to allow the Lord to have control of my life. I didn't want it to be like this phrase that held no more meaning because I said it all the time. But what happens as you grow up and you get that mindset that I'm not going to say that, it becomes like a little bit of a pride thing. And so you don't say it, or I didn't say it. And I think it also means that you don't actually fully give the Lord your plans like you should. So maybe I'm not always going to say that because it loses its meaning, but I'm going to do that and pray that. And I'm challenging you to also pray that and have that mindset, because it's the mindset that really is what we're after. The mindset that God is in control of our day, of our moments, and we don't know what's going to come in the very next moment. And it's like it's in a moment that you can have a car accident, or in a moment someone can have a fatal heart attack, or I knew someone who died in her sleep. She was only 26. So it isn't, we don't know what's going to happen. And I'll give a short example. When I broke my clavicle a few years ago, I had just done a video. I was feeling perfectly fine. Then I jumped on my bike and rode down to get the mail. And when I came back, stopped my bike, the wheel turned, and the bike fell over, and I fell and couldn't get my foot on the ground properly and hit my shoulder and broke my clavicle. So it was like within a moment, I went from feeling fine to my whole summer being a little bit altered because I couldn't even braid my hair when it got too hot and sticky on my neck. And it just, dressing was difficult. So that it takes a moment, so that we don't know what our plans are going to be or how they could change. And our life is like a vapor, like a mist that quickly disappears. So that each moment of our lives, we want to live for God, and no matter what we're doing, like we talked about yesterday. So I'm just glad you joined me. And that was just a short little thing with those verses. So tomorrow we're going to start chapter 5. I'm excited because chapter 5 is the last chapter in James. And there's a lot in there too. So thanks for joining me. Bye.